Hello everybody, and thank you for watching. Today we're going to be talking about force plate testing and why this is a non-negotiable for your rehab and tracking your progress of increasing human performance metrics. Force plates work by measuring ground reaction forces to tell us how much force we're putting into the ground and influence human performance metrics. Some important metrics measured are jump height, reactive strength index, peak force, peak power, rate of force development, landing forces, and telling you what force is going on each individual leg during some of these movements. Using force plates in rehab is going to help you by seeing progress and tracking that progress month to month, especially on these long, daunting rehabs such as ACL reconstructions. You're going to save time on exercise selection because you know what exercises you need to address your biggest deficits. The data you collect is going to help make safe decisions on you returning to activities. The force plates are going to expose massive deficits in force production and force absorption side to side. So if you decide you want to go back to playing soccer or doing other intense sporting activities and you're displaying signs of large deficits, then we know that going back to these sports puts you at a higher risk of possible re-injury, and nobody wants to get injured again. Buying into frequent testing to make sure that you're making progress with what you want is going to help keep you accountable in your training program. Anybody that puts skin into the game by purchasing something or paying for it, you're automatically going to have more accountability to yourself. Also, hundreds of the metrics that are measured with force plate testing, we currently do not have technology at this time to measure those metrics. So this is the only option. Now with just general performance, it's going to do a lot of the same things for rehab. It's going to make sure you are making the improvements you want in the qualities that you want to improve. It's going to save time and effort because you're going to know exactly what you need to do to make the progress in those deficits. It's going to hold you accountable because if you come back in 4 to 6 weeks and do your testing and you're not making the progress you want, you know you got to make some changes. It's also going to help assist in preventing injury. If you're landing super heavy on one leg versus the other, we know there might be some strength deficits that we need to address. It's also going to help increase your longevity. We know that as you age, qualities such as strength, power, and rate of force development decrease drastically unless you train them. Frequent testing on the force plates is going to make sure that you retain those qualities that help keep you healthy as you age. Whew. Now take a breath. I know I'm throwing a lot at you and it's hard to understand, but the good thing is that I'm here to help. A testing session with me will give you a detailed explanation of all the metrics used and why we're going to be using them. Me and you will then sit down and I will explain to you the specific training techniques and strategies we will use to increase these specific qualities that you have deficits in. Following that, I will give you a PDF file with the important metrics that we measured today so you can take home with you. Here we have an example of some of the metrics we would use if you were rehabbing a lower extremity injury. Don't worry, I know there are a lot of big words, but this is where I come in to explain to you what each of these mean and why this is important for your rehab. In the bottom left-hand corner here, you can see a counter movement jump that measures how much force the patient is putting on each leg when they land. 71% of the force was being placed on the left leg. No surprise that her right leg was the injured one. There is no other way to test something like this. So in my opinion, in order to get the best care, you must be assessed on force plates. So you're probably thinking, my sport doesn't require me to jump crazy. Or you're thinking, I don't want to be a freak athlete. Why do I need to be tested on these? While all this can be true, all facets of life require force, and all sports dwindle down to how much force you can produce and how quickly you can produce the force. So you're probably already thinking to yourself, I'm doing rehab. Why do I need this? If you're not getting tested with force plates, this is a vital piece that is missing in your rehab. It's very difficult at this time to get highly reliable and valid testing to make sure that large deficits in lower extremity function are resolved when returning back to activities. And we know if these are not resolved, it's only increasing your risk for re-injury, and it's actually dangerous to do so. And contrary to popular belief, going outside of your insurance and doing a cash-based approach to objective measuring with force plates will actually save you time and money in the rehab process, and here's how. So let's say you're seeing a physical therapist who does not do any objective-based testing twice a week for 12 months for an ACL reconstruction, which will usually take somewhere around 12 months, sometimes longer, in order to get back to all activities safely. And let's say insurance covers every single visit at a $30 copay, which is pretty unlikely. This is rarely going to happen. Are they going to cover 104 visits over a year? If every visit goes for 1 hour, you will spend a total of 104 hours in the clinic during your rehab, and a total of $3,120 in copays. So let's say you go the other route and you purchase 9 testing sessions per year starting at the 3-month mark at $1,000. This cuts your sessions in half for the total time that you have to spend in the clinic. So you only go 52 times to the clinic in a year at $30 per visit, which is $1,560, reaching to a total of $2,560. So you've effectively saved around $500, but most importantly, you've saved 52 hours in the clinic of not having to go in there to do your rehab. Time is of the utmost important resource that you have. If you can save time by testing and making sure that the rehab that you're doing is the most optimal, why wouldn't you? Then we have to take into account the worst possible outcome, being a re-injury and then having to have surgery once again. Look at the cost of some of these average surgeries. There is not a single one of these surgeries that is under $3,000, and that is even if insurance is covering a lot of it. And so what if insurance does cover all of it and it's a completely free surgery? Are you really willing to risk going under the knife again and having a whole nother surgery and going through all of the rehab to make sure you get your strength back? So please, do you and your future self a favor and invest in your rehab and in your performance today. Don't waste the time. You only got one body. You only got one life. You only have so much time on this planet. Why not make sure that you give yourself the best care and the ability to get back to what you want to do? Don't waste your time with suboptimal rehab. Would you climb a mountain without a map? Why would you do the same for your training and your rehab, not knowing exactly where you want to go? Don't you want something to track that, to make sure you're doing exactly what you need to do and that you're getting the best outcome in the most optimal program possible? Let's stop wasting time now and get you on the force decks as fast as we can to make sure that you're getting the best care possible and that you're going to have the best outcome possible.